Hi guys! So I told my friend Jordan this story after we were told that we had to do a project for math, and she found it really entertaining, so that's why I wanted to tell you too. In my freshman year of high school, we had biology, and we were told that we had to do a science experiment. After considering it for a while, I decided I want to do mine on animals, and the easiest ones to keep were fish. I researched some common diseases that fishies have, and I found swim bladder disease. Swim bladder disease is kind of when a fish can't really regulate the amount of air in their swim bladder, so they can't really control when they go up and down. It can easily be cured with the correct diet, but there are like 5 or 6 on the internet, and I chose from them, made it about 3, and I decided my experiment was going to be which one worked the best. I went to my biology teacher to get her permission because it's real animals, so she had to make sure I wasn't hurting them. Then I went to Petco to get the actual fish, and I had to get fish that already had swim bladder disease, so I was looking for fish that would like swing at the bottom or the top of the tank. By the way, I still had to pay full price for them, even though they were basically swimming corpses. They were only 19 cents. Why do I still feel scammed? I got a tank and a filter and all the works, which was like $60 in the end for these dying fish, and I don't know why I continued doing this. Now the problem with this that I realized the next day was that they were way too sick to be helped by my testing. And the way I realized this? There were 4 dead fish in the tank the next morning. It was at that point that I began to question my judgment in choosing this project. Not earlier. Now the groups of fish were split up into 5, so I had 15 of them. 5 of them ate carrots, 5 of them ate apples, and 1 of them ate peas because the other 4 in the group died. But then, the next morning, several more were dead. I only had 6 left. And it wasn't that anything I was doing. They were just too sick. So my mom got attached to all the fish, and she wanted to give them a proper burial. We put them in the freezer, but I said that they shouldn't be out of water, and I knew it was going to freeze, but I put them in the water anyway. So we had this Ziploc full of dead fish with water in it. And the next morning, I just opened the freezer to get something to eat, and right there is a Ziploc with an ice cube of 9 dead fish. Delicious. For some inexplicable reason, I decided to continue doing the experiment after one of the fish ate yet another fish, so I only had 5 left. Of the 15 I originally had, 1 group if I reassign all of them. About a week after I got the fish, all but 2 of them were dead. I ditched the 3 days of information that I managed to scrounge out of it, and made up all my data. Every aspect of it. I wrote about how well the experiment was going. And though there were a few minor setbacks, I would still be able to write an informative and exemplary essay of what I had learned from this project. And these now healthy fish. Not to mention how much I had grown and changed from this long-term project that was incredibly interesting. Basically, the title of my essay should have been Total Bullshit. It ended up taking us like a year to bury the fish, so we have a few interesting stories from that. My mom told me that I should take the fish back to Petco and demand a refund, but in the end there were like 13 dead fish bodies, and I didn't want to walk into the store with like a bag of 1 part water and 2 parts potential dinner and say that it was all their fault. My brother visited us with his girlfriend, and she found the ice cube of dead fish in our freezer, and she began to freak out just like a little bit, justifiably. So I had to explain the whole story without making it sound like I was a psychopath. This is a true story, by the way. I didn't make it up. The only parts that I did add in were the little clips when I was talking and when the fish died. Like, I remember that a lot died at the first day and the second day, but all except 1 of them died within the first week. 1 is actually still alive. I know, right? It's so amazing. His name is Koo, because he's copper, and it was a science experiment that killed his family. Special thanks to my mom. Thank you, Mom, for helping me film this. My Instagram and Twitter are in the description below, as always, or the last 2 videos at least. Also, there is a link to a charity that helps fish in the description as well, because I felt bad about, well, I didn't kill them, but I still feel bad.